As a teen, I was very rebellious and very spontaneous, and I believed that I had to try everything and do everything at once because it was all gonna end soon. And I actually always just assumed that I would be some sort of tragic James Dean-like character and I wouldn't make it past a certain age. I don't know why, but I think a lot of teens feel that way, that it's all about now, that your teen years are the best years of your life. As far as school, I always thought that there were certain things I was really good at from a young age and then other things that I just wasn't. And I convinced myself that I would never be good at those things. For instance, I was always a humanities person and I was very good at English. I was the theater person. I starred in all the plays and I was really confident when it came to the arts and came to the things that I was confident in. But I just assumed that math and science and all those other things were things I wasn't going to be good at, and I ended up kind of creating this identity for myself that was about not being good at that stuff and kind of giving up on it. And I now, being on house and learning a lot about medicine and science, I want to go back to my 10th grade or chemistry class, my 11th grade physics class, and I want to take it all again. And I want to tell my younger self to be confident that there's nothing you aren't good at. It's just because you haven't learned it yet. I have a 16-year-old brother and who's madly in love right now in high school. And I always tell him that when I was 16, or all through my teen years, I was constantly madly in love. I just always thought this was the relationship that would be, you know, my forever. And I think that when you're young, you can often become slightly obsessed with people. You can sort of lose your center, lose your self-esteem a bit, and become someone who lives for another human being. I always tell my brother now, like, relationships are fantastic, but you have to remember you will have several more. This is probably not the one. You know, it's interesting, maybe it's because it was always a passion of mine, but acting was always kind of the through line through my life and the path that I knew I was going to take. And sometimes I would waver off that path with, you know, partying too much or boys or you know, self-obsession, all the things that teens get into. And I feel like remembering that path that I wanted to be on, remembering that I had a goal at the end, always brought me back to it. So I can't remember a particular moment when I paused, but I know that without that end goal, without reminding myself that I was here to do something else, I probably would have like wavered far off the path. You know, when you give yourself a minute to think, you give yourself a chance to make a better decision.